Hello, community, and welcome back to another Keeping It Real with Dr. Anita podcast. I am your host, Dr. Anita Polite Wilson, C-Suite Trusted Advisor, Board Director, and Team Dynamics Consultant, preparing businesses to strategically navigate culture, complexity, and change. Today, we'll explore how over the past 4 years, some companies have engaged in performative diversity efforts rather than doing the real work of inclusion and belonging. In the aftermath of George Floyd's murder, many organizations made bold statements and commitments to diversity, equity, inclusion. However, as time has passed, it's become evident that some of those efforts were more performative than substantive. Performative diversity inclusion efforts, or diversity washing, refer to superficial actions that give the appearance of a commitment to DEI without making meaningful changes that foster belonging. One example of performative diversity was the increase in public declarations and social media posts expressing support for DEI without corresponding internal actions. While it's important for companies to voice their support, these statements must be backed by concrete actions. A study by Edelman found that 60% of consumers are skeptical about brands' DEI commitments and demand proof of progress. Another issue was the hiring of chief diversity officers, or CDOs, without providing them with the resources or authority needed to drive real change. According to a report by Russell Reynolds Associates, 47% of DEOs do not have sufficient resources to execute their strategies effectively. This lack of support can hinder their ability to implement impactful DEI initiatives. Furthermore, some organizations focus on diversity metrics, such as increasing the representation of minority groups, without addressing the underlying issues of inclusion and belonging in ways that actively retain the representation of historically underrepresented groups in the succession pipeline at the director level and above. True inclusion means creating an environment where all employees feel valued, respected, and empowered to contribute. A report by Catalyst highlights that inclusion is key to unlocking the potential of diverse teams and driving innovation where belonging is a factor in business success. To move beyond performative diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, organizations must take a holistic approach to DEI and emphasize belonging. This involves setting clear, measurable goals, holding leadership accountable at all organizational levels, and fostering a culture of continuous learning and improvement. It also requires addressing systemic barriers and promoting equity at all levels of the organization. Next week, we'll discuss the downturn in the prioritization of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the trend of companies dismantling their internal DEI teams. In the meantime, please stay in the flow with me. Follow, like, and overshare this podcast with your network by reposting and adding your own comments and insights. Until next time, this is Dr. Anita reminding you to stay blessed and keep it real.